Let's talk about infrastructure improvements that come to mind for this video. We'll start with where I'm standing, which is really an excellent hub of many things. If I ever got, well, you know, in any case, really you can look at the Carpinteria as a part of it. And I think the people involved with the actually the Carpinteria should be the Carpinteria hosts. And what that is and what its function is should be changeable depending on what it is. But that's a special location. A band could use it. That'd be great. Nice central location. We could even increase its stage-like nature. You know, it's tempting to turn everything into a comfort station, but who knows? It would be nice to build things that are semi-temporary so we can experiment. Like, I really like things like walls made of concrete bricks and mud, because those are both really strong, but they're flexible. And if they fall apart, you build them better. But you essentially have these really organized rocks, the concrete stones, and you get the best quality ones you can. Ideally, we would make it here, right? We would actually set up a concrete block making station and only run it when we have a surplus of water and buy the concrete. A lot of people think concrete's bad. Well, so what? You live in a world where there's a lot of concrete. There's really good reasons for that. And what I want to do is really be calculating about how and why we use concrete. I realize it's high energy embodied material, but it also could be the magic solution for sculpting this land into a productive and protected natural space that people can share in. Isn't that a great idea? It's damn near impossible to design something that way because it goes against profitability, for one thing, on the financial sense. One thing is I don't want to try and imagine a really static, singular state that I imagine things here would be in. I want to have the end values be achieved, and to do that I need to use the infrastructure for its highest value. The truth is I'm not doing that at all. Like, I could put clothes drying things over here that would work just fine in these three trees, and probably top these trees off just to keep them under control. Trees close to the house are just dangerous. They're a problem. It just is. And so topping off with the chainsaw and a pole thing, that would be great. And there's this huge flat spot up there. If I have just use for clotheslines, and it's the best parking spot in the entire place. Heck, this is probably where I should park. So this what I need to do is improve other clothes drying spots, including potentially in the studio. If I can make a semi clean enough spot in the studio, it gets hot in there and it will dry stuff out. It's a great space for that. It's the best one. This studio has been underutilized for a long time. I guess I am parked up here. That's probably why I thought of it. I was like, dude, where's my van? And I just left it here when we were done. Oh my God. Oh, my hat's in here too. Oh my God. I think I know why I'm so sore. I think I overdid it the other day by quite a bit. That's okay. You can't always do things the right way, even if you try a little bit. Okay, brake, emergency. Great. Brian, go slow. There's a constant job here of just cutting and moving plants. That's a fundamental part of food forest farming, and I believe it would maybe be worth it. It would be really hard to justify. It would be, I don't know. Years ago, I would say no way. That's terrible. But maybe it would be worth it to have a small bulldozer. If we had a small bulldozer that was easy to fix, right? It has to have a good maintenance and lifespan because we're going to use the hell out of it, and hopefully maintain the hell out of it as well. That would be great. Where the hell am I going? Oh, somewhere more useful. Yeah. It's a good spot. I like it. Well, it's now late March. It could be March 20th. It could be some other time. Maybe it's the 22nd. I don't know. But, oh yeah, I was gonna go look for that stove top thing, chimney top for a 6-inch tube. The fire's, we're gonna retrofit a fire so that it works better. And I have other things I might want to change about that fire. It'll work. It'll be fine. It's fine. It's a fine fire. We'll improve side access. Okay, here's another 6-inch one. That's good to know. It's all rusty. It could add to the charm. And I thought I saw a top somewhere. All this shit needs to get cleaned up in here. I've got lots of plants growing. I've got old bottles that should be cleaned up and put to use, one way or the other. I've got old broken tools that could be recreated. I don't see a top for a chimney. Am I blind? Do I see things that aren't there? Well, I guess I have to go all through here because this thing's perfect for something. That's how junk gets out of the junk pile, baby. And then sometimes it ends up there again because it was truly a piece of junk. What does the top of this thing look like? You know, these trails are actually passable. This roof fell down, and it hasn't been a priority to get it out of here, but it needs to become a priority right away. It's a thing blocking a transit corridor. Jesus. I see a 6-inch elbow. That could come in handy. I still don't see a top. Maybe I saw it somewhere else. Maybe I saw it in the hardware store. Essentially, if this stove isn't used all the time, a 4-inch tube is not a good one. Also, it is rotted away, probably due to maybe being overheated or who knows what. But a 6-inch one will do much better, I believe. So we'll figure it out. Unfinished masks. Masks. Masks are not mine. Fuck. God damn. Oh my God, Frida was trapped in the studio. Frida, stay the fuck out of the studio. I already told that dog that. She's been trapped in here more than once. And I just found some poison on the ground that somebody had thrown there a while ago, and it might have worked because there was dead mummified rats next to it that still smell bad though. And there's still one moving in there, I believe. And I opened a drawer where at the casita. The cat died a while back, and I opened a drawer at the casita, and there was a mouse right there, and it had its nest and it ran off. It was a big one too. It was fat. It's been eating my cat food, I bet. And it would not be there if the cat was there. That's more proof that the cat is dead. In addition to her not being here at all, except for a suspiciously cat-like spine that I own. This is the studio. This is the desmadre. But there's a spot in here I can put some beds. I could put a bed right there and a bed right there. And it could be the studio managers. And we could make that more private. And we can even make a private entrance out the back here. Or we do something else. I don't know. Another weird idea is in this building is to make a tunnel that goes from in here straight out there into the chicken coop. And it should be big enough for a person. That also makes an infinitely durable, really good entry into that chicken coop. Now, I have criticism of that chicken coop. The main thing is that it should be taller. And I believe we could also connect in the rooster house as being more area that's connected. Now, all those three can have electricity really easily from the current system. That's what we should do. I'm a little confused about the layout. And I want to keep this front area more open. This is very good sunlight right in here. This roof over here needs to be cleared off of all that pine needles, or maybe it'll make it have less radiation. I don't know. We know we need a fire pit in here. Here's my tubes of metal. I'll just take one. No, I won't. Then I'll forget that I have the other one. This is actually cleaned up by comparison to what it was at one point recently. But, you know, there's animals living in here and things are disorganized, and it's not as bad as it looks, actually. It's mostly dirty. Having a fire and light in here at night so that people could do crafts at night out of the wind, right? And have an open fire, because there's a huge area at the top for heat to escape. And so in all times of the day, really, this could end up being a really just amazing space, this studio space here. I'm not sure on the ramp out the back what we're going to do there. That ramp is an example of too steep an entry into something. We must never let anyone build anything like that. That needs to be like a religion among anyone doing any design. And that is like 15% is the absolute max slope you would ever want to have anywhere, whether it's a trail. I got to figure this tree out real quick. Yeah. That's actually an opportunity, that Fresno right there. Being right next to the studio like that. I need to use the lower branches, maybe braid them into a sculpture that just goes up and up into the sky, and then try and lasso the top of it and start pulling that towards the terrace over here. Essentially getting the Fresno to go over the road. That's the goal. And we bonsai it a bit, you know, and that controls its roots. That makes it so it's not a big problem later. In other words, by sculpting it, we control it. And we can even, I don't know, I don't want to lose the top right yet, but if we can't control the top, we have to lose it. It's one or the other. So using like a cool knot in a rope to pull that this way would be fine. We may decide that's too hard and maybe take the central leader out. Just take it out. We have other branches going other directions. The one going directly over the roof, maybe we cut those. We want to train it to go this way. And always, you know, like kind of towards this garden here, really. And that'd be like a green wooden entryway into whatever. It's natural shade. It feels good. Right now, this is a great time of the year to actually do that kind of work, like going out and cleaning up areas. Like there's a lot of weed whacking to be done, and it's really hard in the hot sun. This is a severe problem. I think what I need to solve that is portable work lighting that is rechargeable, fairly lightweight. I mean, what do I think about the idea, for example, of using a 2,000 watt generator, and that powers up lighting and tools for 2 teams or more. We'd have to look at what wattage electric tools use and all that stuff. I have a 2,000 watt one. We could put it on a wagon with wheels. It could even be bicycle wheels. I don't know, whatever's the smartest choice. It could have a sound baffle on it that allowed still for excellent airflow. In fact, airflow could be encouraged. But the sound baffling would be lovely. Because starting noise early in the morning, I guess people do that around here, but anyway, I'd love to be able to bring power to a site and then start. And the thing is that if you're going to do this kind of work anyway with, you know, it might end up quieter than people with chainsaws and weed whackers. And also, I think the electrical things, aren't they easier to maintain, probably? Are they strong? I don't know. It's a weird idea. This also goes along with the idea of actually having throughout the forest, digging out spaces that could have a generator if we wish to have one. And we should put those, basically dig in a variety of ways in a variety of spaces where we know that we can. And some of those will be root cellars, but little spots for a generator is a brilliant idea. I don't want to use generators ever. But it would be wise to have certain systems that we don't normally have to use. Maybe they power our shops and things, because there. I mean, every tool, every expenditure of electrical energy, whether it comes from gasoline or your solar panels, either, is a use of a resource. And so that's why I'm really interested in like woodwork shops where people work by hand uh, with very selected additional tools, and we have to figure out every tool, like justify it, and but then work in ways that aren't like totally artisan, like this is my work of art. No, let's crank out some furniture that's really functional. Like, I don't know, what did the Shakers make? How did they do that? Can we do tongue and groove of different things? I bought some tools. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have time to deal with it, but I have wood here. And if someone really knew how to make furniture well with tools that I have, and I should make a list of those so that people know what I got, uh, and maybe I could even get some tools sponsored because I have like hand carving tools, big ones, little ones. I've got stone carving tools. I've got uh, weird supplies. The dog is over here confused by the new piece of PVC tubing that has shown up on the terraza. Let's continue to talk about infrastructure, shall we? Exciting thing is over here, I was pissed off at these tubes. I realized the electrical is down far enough, that's fine. And the only thing, the problem is these green tubes here. But if I cut down this slope over here, it's not even hard, and I want to clean all up anyway. I want that fucker cleaned up, that area. Because we can actually bury all of this hose beneath I hate to say it, but for now, I mean, we can just put some chairs here and stuff, but I'm not going to make this into a garden spot. I want this to be concrete because it is so related to this other space right there. And I'm probably going to put a roof over it, and this very likely will be a kitchen. And also a staff, the kitchen staff rest area. There could be a private room. Ultimately, we'll see about the space. It's tricky. There's a nice garden up above it. On top of the roof of the kitchen, I would like to have 3 entryways into that upper level, probably. 2 is the obvious minimum, but 3 would be good. And would I actually expand that all the way out to the lodge over there to make a covered walkway? Maybe. There's no reason here that things have to be the way they are. They suck the way they are because of where I put things and how I change things. But it's okay. Sometimes, I mean, I like to make designs that I can imagine how it fits together and we start with nothing or, parts of things that I know about. But like here, I'm always retrofitting. Like I wouldn't want to hurt this peach. Look at the peaches are coming on the tree. That's cute. And later you can eat them. Now I think that's got to be, what I could do is, no, I could leave that as dirt, have this be concrete, have this stairway of whatever access needs to happen, get totally changed and move up there, fertilize or give this peach tree all it wants, probably water, but learn about peach trees. I have others, but this one just loves this wall. It gets late day sun. Anyway, over here I want to dig this slope back, but I've got a really nice rosemary in there, which is not a blocking issue, especially if this happened in June. And we watered it before we did it. So we water it for 2 days, like 5 gallons of water at least each day, if we have water to spare. And it could happen in July, it's fine. But we try and transplant it. The thing is that this is such a valuable location, and I have some garden up there, but, and then there's a nice rose here. So I would suggest getting rid of those, leaving the maguey here, identify what the hell that thing is, make entries in the lower level as needed, and I don't know about entries from an upper level anywhere else. There's also been thought of building this up with stone here, and it's entirely possible that there could be a weird way to have almost a hidden stairway that goes right up there. That'd be tough to do. It's very hard to know. Since I don't use the bathroom as a bathroom, it's interesting to think of that as like a kitchen staging area where food ready to go out gets placed. Right now, there's a window to it. We could open that window and we could actually serve things out of it. We could see the height of it. I'd have to check that. That's a crazy idea. I was thinking of that kind of being more the staff direction, but we'll have to think about it. There are also various windows on the studio, which are currently nailed shut, but any design should maximize the use of those windows for some useful purpose. Anything to do with the terrace is probably the priority. And mainly it's moving things off of it or hanging art on it, things like that. I saw some beautiful peppers down in the plant propagation area. Get all this shit out of here. What's happened is that in places I've cut down the pines, there's a much greater diversity of plants. And we're looking at now, in some cases, I don't know how many generations, but some bird brings in a seed that, there was none of that plant here before. And, but there is somewhere around here, in some forest nearby. And it poops it out, and that seed grows. And that doesn't have to happen very many times for that plant itself to grow up and make lots of flowers and seeds. And by definition, one of them lived there. And so it's very likely more of them would. And if you get enough of them so they can cross-pollinate, then they'll actually breed so that they are native to the exact spot. Now, maybe they already were before it got logged a long time ago, a very long time ago. This is a very strange and interesting forest. And it's gotten a lot more interesting now. There's cool spaces you can't get to, just right near here. That's really dumb. I should dig out little alcoves and stuff, especially since people want to be socially distanced. And I think what I need to do with that is just get a bunch of those metal chairs and then have them so they have a bolt and they're sunk into a concrete block so that a couple burly guys could dig it out and move it. But the idea is that it's too hard to do it to steal. We don't want people stealing them. And I want some up there at first light, I need seating up there like that, first light near the lodge, because the lodge is such a center of activity along with the view. And I was just down at the casita today. In fact, there's two linkages that are super important. There's the linkage between the lodge and the casita. Well, every single area that I think about, that I go to, I need to start defining things really carefully. And I need to make some rules, like the general rule is You cannot build anything next to a road. That's where we start. There's going to be exceptions. You may have already thought of some. But having a lot of dense foliage on the sides of roads cuts down on dust if it's a dusty time of year here and if we are pre-pavement. There are places where we need to put in pavement, but mainly that's for places that the first ones to get paved will have to get selected really carefully, and it'll be so that vehicles can get up them and all in the rainy season. Right now I've got roads where, I mean, cars can get stuck here if it's too rainy. That's something to keep in mind if you're ever going to be here, which I don't know if, I think I'm closing down. I don't have enough backing for it. Or it's a stupid idea. Totally possible. Another to-do item over here is to top off this oak over here, the oak tree. Right away, we need to bury this shit, and then I need to get a quote on how much it would cost to pave the whole thing. And I believe that includes ripping out this stove, probably. We don't destroy the stove. It's on a big slab. In fact, it probably stays right around here somewhere. But it's not the right spot. It's not the right thing. I think that it's almost like we could spin it and it could come out of the kitchen and it would get fed. Well, I don't know. I want to protect the wood feeding spot. Although I want people to learn about that too. I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm that. The sink is going to stay where it is. It's lovely. The wood-fired oven, I think, should be incorporated in the existing building, I mean, into the new building. And we should just route that smoke up past the second floor. And maybe even that smoke goes into a fire thing up there. I don't know. I mean, one thing is that would be a great place up there to watch the sunset. That you could sit down, you know, and nothing in the way. So this area up there is going to have, on the top of the kitchen, more of a view out that direction than anywhere around here that's comfortable. If you're down here under this roof, it's just a whole different game. Yeah. I want to flatten out the space in front of the lodge and all the way over to the entry of the art studio and where the road goes down on the other side. And I want to make that more open and very rarely have a vehicle in it. I think that if we fix roads up correctly, we can make more one-way roads. We don't need to be able to loop around right there. It uses a lot of space. I think it's okay if that's a pedestrian, because it's all garden in here, right? This is a very people-friendly area. I think we should have vehicles arrive to here, and then when they leave by up there. Although maybe I don't want everybody to go up there. Depends on who it is. I do need to figure deliveries out. I need to pick a delivery day. There's so much types of infrastructure. Well, we're looking at physical infrastructure here. There used to be a big fire pit over there. I need to improve camping all around that area. That's a fairly good camping area. That hasn't been the biggest priority because I think right now I want to totally change Alicante. And I believe that what we should do is clear out all the stuff we know we don't want. I have tons of videos on this. And start digging and leveling camping spots, you know. And, you know, even though I've said that it would be cool to have a tiny tractor thing, I mean, how can we dig? Like, can we have like a rototiller size thing that even two people can grind through earth and just, you know, get the work done that would have taken a huge team of guys with shovels who wouldn't have enjoyed it? Like, is there a small way to sculpt the land very gently, really? And it would even help to make trails. You could dig 2 rows of that and then level it out, and it's all in contour, right? And it's, you know, deal with what you come to, right? Some places you could do that easily. Other places it's just pure rock, and that's not going to work there. That's okay. Now tools got to work everywhere. I've got a place I want to dig through. It's over on the Rocky Ridge. It's at really a connection point that's pretty important. It takes you into Upper Ladder area. It's almost as high as Nest. And somehow in there, I want to, I haven't been able to walk there for years. I'm just being able to walk to places, but I've occasionally walked to places I shouldn't have walked. Like it was a while back, I went in the wrong shoes and I just fell over there. I was cursing in that video a lot. I don't know if I published it. It would probably be funny though. Cursing does not offend me much. It probably makes me think people are stupid when they curse, which I find especially amusing since I curse. It is amusing. Yep, it's pretty much just radiating out from here. There is a whole grove of pine trees up there that I used to have a trail through, and there was a small gully in it, and I believe it's this gully right here. I'm sure it is, as a matter of fact. It's the same gully. This entire tiny barranca should all be cleared all the way up to wherever it gets to, and I think I know. And that's because it's a planting opportunity, and we're going to plant the hell out of it. With things that just want things to be the tiniest little bit more humid, and maybe have and we can also dump some richer dirt in there if we want. It's already a nice place, right? And that would even help us to grow things that are harder for us to get going, perhaps. Maybe we want to kickstart, a line of 6 macadamia trees and do it in a spot where they'll get what we think is the climate they would want, and do that in a few others. Macadamia grows in places near here. In fact, I should look at every agricultural product commercially made in the state of Michoacan, find out where the industry map is, where they grow it. I don't care where they sell it, where they grow it. And that's all, I'm sure, look upable on Wikipedia or something. And then figure out how I can grow those things if there's climate change or in microclimates made by transforming the landscape. I mean, the biggest transformation be a lake, and I actually don't have, I can think about that for a second. Should I put a lake right out there in front of the lodge? I have extra water. That's not a bad idea. And I was talking about having this not be a circular driveway thing. I want to be able to close and open up any entryway into the lodge, and I want to have it not be apparent that that's what's occurring. The most obvious thing, place to block off and have a private entryway is right here behind the studio by the big bamboo. First of all, we need to do a better job and get more aggressive about reproducing that bamboo. I need to give some to the municipio, just ask them permission and say, can I bury a clumping piece of bamboo here, and I believe it's this species. And if you ever tell me that it is out of control in any way, we will come and kill it for free. I mean, it's for us, it's a valuable product. Or we'll tell people that it's there and they can harvest it. But it just won't happen. But you could get, like, what has taken me decades almost, to get. That was the first plant I put in, bamboo. And we have pulled ones out of it, it's true, to reproduce them. And you know what? None of them do that well because it really wants to be right here. It's getting extra water from roofs that can't capture water very well because they're stupid. And I believe we have to reproduce the heck out of it, but the actual way that I can do that is by getting some test people. Like there's also some folks in Aracutine, and I could say, hey, do you want a stalk of this bamboo? You get one. I would recommend cutting it into 2 pieces and get advice on where to put it. But I'm especially, whoa, I talk fast and a lot about a lot of crap. But it doesn't hurt me to thin this bamboo out. And what goes around comes around. And it's a great building supply. It's lightweight when you dry it, but super strong. You can make fencing, you can make all kinds of things with bamboo. I don't do enough with my bamboo. It's kind of in an inconvenient location, to be honest. Um, I loved how tall it has gotten over a long period of time. Um, yeah, well, I've got a lot of gullies I can plant with bamboo, and I think that's worth it. And we should find out how hard it is to get rid of, but I don't want to find that out with too much work. We could actually dig out like a section of this here, because I want changes back here anyway, right? And this is this really critical point of entry. It's a back point of entry into the studio, which connects into the other door over there. This is, related to the chicken coop. We used to kill rabbits right here. And this could be a meat processing area. No, I want it to be a magic location that you can go through. But we should learn about how hard it is to dig these bamboo up right here. I want to find that out. Because I reproduce them a very slow way, it does work. But if I wanted to plop a bamboo in a place I knew it would do really well, and I know of one, well, I'd have to do a little thinking. I've got spots where I believe that bamboo might do really well. Like I'd like to try that in the Barranca. I've never done it, and I might put it on the far lower Barranca. Just, a few pieces of it. And well, I'd have to think about that. One nice thing is it makes an impenetrable fence. And it's really hard to get rid of it. It's hard to cut it down. Even with a chainsaw, it's kind of annoying. But it's great for like areas where I want to block entry and control of things somewhat. And like even blocking off neighborhood locations with different kinds of hedgerows, I'm confused about this bamboo here. I'm very pleased it's doing so well. I'm not at all worried that it's invasive. This is the only spot it's grown, and it's grown because, again, there's all this building up there that's not capturing water. We don't capture that water because it's made of a wavy, corrugated fiberglass shit that probably makes little glass things go off of it, so we can't use the water for chickens. Would I be willing to use it for plants? I have to read about fiberglass. If it's not toxic and it eventually breaks down and it doesn't poke your hand or anything, I don't think it does, then I just have to read up on that. But right now that water is not being captured or used. It's a huge loss because it would be hugely beneficial to have all that water here. At minimum, I should try and make a pond. Do I make a pond that doesn't have fish in it? That doesn't sound right. I do love how this bamboo has turned out. It is very interesting that we're losing trails in here, but I kind of like it. In fact, I want to use this bamboo at entry points and then make a weaving way through it. I could do this with the timber bamboo too, and I could decide whether I want to top it off or not. That's one thing I haven't done is I haven't topped off bamboo ever. But you could do that. You could have where you didn't want the light to be blocked like as tall as this thing up here is, right? You don't want to block that much light. This assumes it's in a place where it wants to grow, but I want to grow things where they want to grow. I'll put them in harder places after that. And I'll think about things and watch what they do. But I do want to take one of these bamboos and top it off and then plant all the pieces that we cut off the tops. I could start with some tests of doing that. I could even do it down at the casita where it's a good spot down there to grow bamboo anyway. Set up a special test garden for these topped off pieces in a spot that, problem is I got various design ideas down there too. No, I got to stay focused on the lodge. Between here and the lodge, that's a bunch of work too. I can improve things. I'm working on it. I've already done a lot of work. The mesa is the easiest, most important location right now. But I got a lot of buildings I need to clean up, and I don't even know where the keys are to some of them. And I don't even have any beer. I couldn't even sell myself a beer if I had money to buy it. I do have money to buy it, but I couldn't because I don't got it. I could walk over into town, but it's hot out. It's really hot out this time of year. That's a big bunch of work, is flattening areas out. And the truth is, if the slope isn't very steep, it's not that much work. It just looks big, but you're digging only a small part down. I think I should terrace as much of the pine grove up by the Carpinteria as possible. It's connected to a ton of great stuff. Oh shit. I gotta cut down another tree. It's just, I told this guy to cut it down. He didn't do it. Fuck. These trees actually grew so fast they blocked my solar dehydrator. I don't worry about cutting trees. I worry about which trees I should cut, when, and how, and where I should plant trees, what, when, and how. Because both of those should be occurring in a forest that we want to have the greatest value for human sustenance, food, materials, art supplies, good experiences, a nice vibe of a place to be. I think I have to go for an evening walk. I'll cut this video here and decide what I want to do before my evening walk. See you later.